India is a land full of extroverts, noisy people making noise in public places, making hangama in public places. It's quite common. If you are an introvert like me, you can relate. And in this video, I'm going to share 5 things that I really struggled with growing up in India as an introvert. The number one issue I faced was public places. I continue to face this problem everywhere in India, in the cities, streets. It's like noise, honking, and if there is some religious festival or any political event, there is always some loudspeakers and loud music going on late into the night. Some religious functions, they have like music beats running every day. If there's like wedding, marriage functions, it's like running throughout the night. And people are not bothered about other people's personal spaces, other people if they're comfortable, whether there's a school, hospital nearby. Whenever there is something, even if there is like a Independence Day, they'll put loudspeakers. It's like in India, everyone want to show to others that there is something special going on in their house. So they want to declare it to the entire world, even if no one is interested. They want to irritate other people by having these loudspeakers. This is the issue I faced since birth, I guess, and it's been there. And I guess it will continue to be there in India because it's an extroverted country. Everyone feels okay with it because it's been going on for like decades and decades, and majority people are extroverts, so they don't find a problem with that. Another problem in public spaces is talking on the phone. Everywhere you go, people are constantly talking on the phone with loud noises. There are ringtones ringing. I lived in Europe for some time. I lived in China for some time. I never found this problem over there. It's not the same like when it comes to making noise, whether it's in public places or public transportation, say trains, buses, metros. No one uses their phones and the ringtones and talking on the phone in public places. It is not common, especially in Europe, like places like Norway, Sweden, Denmark. These are like introverted places, so it's the opposite of India. So there is no honking on the streets, and in the public transportation, no sound. Everyone sits quietly, either reading books or listening to music. And they listen to music with headphones. In our case, even people are listening to music or watching something on their phone in the trains. It's completely like without any headphones, so on the speakers, and everybody can hear it, and it's making noise. So no one is bothered about like what the other person, whether it's irritating them or it's inconvenient to them, or this is a public place. In India, no one cares about that because again, it's an extrovert specific country. Another big issue, pet peeve in public places, was if I go in any queue, if it's a long queue, whether the bus stop, train station, wherever queue, then people stick to each other from behind. Someone will stick to it, which is quite irritating as an introvert because I prefer to have some personal space, have some space gap. People will just stick to you, even if there is space, lot of space behind, but still they tend to crowd, which is quite irritating. Another problem I found is like social events at home or guests coming at home really drained me. So this was a big problem growing up, that anyone would come to the house, like I would feel awkward about it. Just the doorbell ringing, I would feel awkward, like feel anxious about it. Or the phone ringing, I would feel anxious about it. And guests coming home, then you have to go and introduce yourself. That was like a big headache for an introvert like me, to go in front of guests. I would try to avoid it as much as possible and be in another room till they went away. Only if like my parents or they would call me out, then I would have to forcibly go and then somehow manage in that awkward situation. But that was one of the worst situations to be in. Other situations were like social events, either in my own house, like if there was birthdays, my own birthday or someone else's. My own birthday was even worse because then I would become the focus of attention there. Or if someone else's birthday, or if I had to attend some marriage function or birthday function, so I would try to avoid that as much as possible, but sometimes you could not avoid. You had to go with your parents' family, or if it was some family function, you had to go, and then it would become quite awkward as an introvert, especially if you try to get into that center of attention situation. Like if it's a marriage of your say brother, cousin, then you have to be heavily involved in the dancing or on the stage, so that makes it quite awkward. Same in case of birthdays and activities. The worst case was in the office. So in the office, I hardly know anyone. So in our office, suppose there are 100 employees working in our project or in our like floor. So then the typical way of doing this in our extroverted country is when there is birthday, it doesn't matter if anyone knows you, doesn't know you, whatever the case, they'll have this birthday in the office, they'll gather all the 100 people, and then you will become the center of attraction. Then they'll smear cake on your face and all the activities, talk some awkward stuff. So that was really irritating. I would encourage them, please don't do it for me. If you want to eat something, want cake, I'll purchase it myself. I'll give it to my team myself. But don't involve like 100 other people, strangers who I don't know anything about, and they don't know about anything about me. And then you call them for the birthday celebration, which makes it really awkward for me as an introvert. And in this situation, whether it's at home or in office, if you say no or if you don't try to go, then they consider it as rude, or they'll say this person doesn't talk, he's rude or he's proud. That was a typical statement done when in my younger years when I was small. If guests used to come home or somebody, he doesn't talk, he's rude. When it's actually not the problem. The problem is I'm an introvert, and that really exhausts me trying to mix into such social situations, which especially which happen like suddenly without any like notice. so so that's not an rudeness behavior problem. That's more like majority people are extroverts, and they think that you have to also behave as they want you to behave, which is in an extroverted way, which is by nature doesn't come to us introverts. So it's really hard to stay in an Indian environment because we are the minority over here. Majority tend to be extroverts, and then they expect you to be that way as well. And the worst part is I'm the only extrovert in my house. My sister, my cousins, my parents, whoever is there, most of them are either extroverts or ambiverts, tending more towards the extrovert side. So they cannot understand me, and I don't have anyone who can, like, I can relate to, or they can relate to me. Like 99% of people in my family are extroverts, so that's a big problem. If you are an introvert like me, what is your biggest issue staying in India as an introvert? The social pressure, the phone calls, the noise. What causes you the most irritation? Let me know in the comments. People assume something was wrong with me. So I already talked about this. So when I was young, people would think I was rude, or I was too proud and not talking. My parents thought there was something wrong with me. I was socially not active or awkward. So something was an issue with me. Even when I used to play, like I used to play with friends and all, that was not an issue. But I also used to like my own time. I would take a book and just sit in a corner and spend hours just reading it, reading comics or playing games, video games by my own self. So I was fine with that as well. And then sometimes parents would think it's like something awkward or something wrong is happening. Or sometimes even now in between, like when you're sitting alone, like I can sit and think about things just like that. Not that something is worrying me, just like thinking about nature, environment, whatever. Or some book I read or something I saw, I'll just think about it sitting, or I'll just read something. And then naturally, the extroverts cannot imagine someone being that way. So they'll ask you, what is wrong with you? Or why are you sitting here quietly? Did something happen? Then I have to keep telling them nothing has happened. I'm just reading this, or I'm just sitting and thinking, or just introspecting. But they don't seem to understand that. Another point is that extroverts tend to be rewarded more in India. So extroverts are loud, noisy, have this outward appearance. So what happens is in an extroverted country like India, things go in their favor, even though they might not be intelligent, smart, or might not have the skills. It doesn't matter when it comes like just to showcase or show themselves, they become the loudest, and then it can happen that they get whatever. For example, in schools, the person who lifts their hand and gives the answer, they will be ahead in front of the teacher, and the teacher will say, oh, he's doing good. It had often in my case, and I would be good in my studies, but I would not be the one who would go front and like write on the board or answer questions. So but then when the results would come, the teachers would be shocked because I would come in like second, third place usually. So the teachers would be shocked, and they would say, okay, he's like a dark horse, we didn't know he's intelligent and smart and works at, but by his results we know, but we never notice him in like the classes. So that used to happen a lot, because again it's an extroverted like culture in our case, and that gets rewarded. Even the same case in office, the person who, like, if there's a meeting or there's some client has come, the person who like tries an extroverted environment, saying things, maybe it doesn't even like help in that situation, but just saying for the sake of saying things, he's considered as like contributing or intelligent. Someone like me who actually gives the feedback, whether it's in the meetings or by email meeting one on one and giving feedback, giving actual like intelligent suggestions, thoughtful suggestions, they are not considered that useful than the other people. It has even happened like in office. So I was one of the person, or maybe the judge, the person who completed 15 years in one project, and I had to collect an award. So I had to go on stage. So as an introvert, obviously, like I said, it was awkward to me to stand, and there were maybe 500 people sitting. So so then I got pushed behind from these extrovert, the bosses, the managers, those people, the ones in the suit and ties, which are like 99.99% extroverts. So they just overshadowed me. They came and stood in front of me and took, which I thankfully I preferred that situation. So I'm not sad about that. I'm just showing what happens in the reality actually. Extroverts will try to be everywhere in front. Doesn't matter they're intelligent or not, doesn't matter if they have something insightful or not, but they get like showcased everywhere because our nation is an extroverted nation. Same is with kids as well. The introverted kids who sit and read or who introspect, they are considered like awkward, or they are considered rude or proud, like I mentioned. And the kids who are running around, shouting everywhere, making noise, dancing, are interested in dance, are interested in drama, showcasing the skills, whatever talents, they are considered really good in India. But the people who can silently do do skills which are like introvert skill, like learning, reading, introspecting, all those type of skills, science, improve, creating experiments, science, all those things, those are considered like, or they are not visible. They are still considered as skills in India, but they are not as visible as extrovert skills. And there's a problem in politics as well. If you see, 99.99% of politicians are extroverts. They can say a lot of stuff, but when they to actually do, they won't do much. So that's what happens. Introverts are such that they focus on doing more. Extroverts are such that they focus on speaking more. Whether they take the action on that, time tells, but mostly they don't actually. It's more about blah 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 blah. Introverts are they remain quiet, silent, but then we tend to take action on things. We tend to get things done, whether it's office, home, for our own personal skills. Another issue in India is the phone calls, which constantly disrupt my peace. So as an introvert, I would say phones were the worst invention that were done. The phone calls, at least, because once the phones like came in India, the first the landlines came, and now we have mobiles. So the ringing of the phone creates so much anxiety in an introvert as me. So anytime phone ring, then anxiety have to lift, and what can be said on the other end? Is it someone we know or some stranger, some spam call? Same with the mobile phone. Someone suddenly call, you are busy in some work, or you're resting, or suddenly you have some call, and then anxiety kicks in. Like even if it's from someone known, suddenly an anxiety kicks in to an introvert like me, that why is he calling, for what? And then once you leave the phone call, then what to talk about? Like my phone call hardly lasts maybe 2 minutes in general. So it becomes awkward what to speak about. Even when I was on site and I used to speak to my mother, for example, call. So earlier I used to just call maybe once a week. At that time, this internet was not that common. So we used to use calling cards, and land and public phones. So once a week for 5 minutes was what I used to talk. Even when mobiles came, WhatsApp came, even if I call like in once in a day or in 2 3 days, my call lasted maybe 2 to 5 minutes maximum. So it becomes quite awkward for me to talk on phone calls. The good thing now with at least mobile phones is, at least for spam call, we have this true caller. So at least I can see if it's spam call, bank call, I just cut it. I don't even lift it. So that's at least good. But still, ringing phones, and I always keep my phone on silent. So that's also a complaint people have, that keep your phone always on silent. It has often happened that phone calls have come and rang, and I just ignore them, or I don't know also that phone calls have come and they just be there. Then I will call like later on when I check my phone after an hour. Then I will call them back and then see. So then they get upset that why did you not lift my call and stuff. But that's natural for the introverts. Phone calls are like our kryptonite. So worst thing you can do to an introvert is do a phone call. The best thing you can do is send a text message. It's the happiest we are when you send a text message and communicate on that. So these are some issues that I faced as an introvert in India. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.